I'm going to teach you how to play with Sheeva. First, we'll start with all her normals, so that's going to be applicable to all variations, and then I will cover main queen. There will be timestamps in the description and comments. Now, Sheeva in general has great hit confirmable hits, for example. This means that you have a lot of time to react to if an attack has touched or not, which you can then special cancel. She has strong mix-ups in main queen, and movement is pretty good as well. The only problem is that her pokes are pretty awful. By awful, I mean they have terrible range. Look at this range, it's completely awful. So her pokes are awful, and her range is really terrible. You really have to try to get in, it's pretty difficult. Only rangy attacks that she has are like these ones here, 4 to 1, 4. She also has her sweep is nice and rangy, and then her back 3, which is an overhead, is nice and rangy, but these are all attacks that don't lead to full combo. Regardless, I think you should still use them to try to come in, to cover the distance, especially if someone is backing up and running away. Plus, this is an inherent well, it's supposed to be reactable, but online you're going to get away with it. And I say it's reactable because this is 15 and this is 24, that's therefore fuzzy guardable. But again, if someone fuzzy guards these 50-50s, obviously you can go ahead for a throw. The way to play Sheeva, in my opinion, that's how I play her, is to use what I just said was the weakest thing about her. You have to use her pokes. You have to get in, get close, and use her pokes. Why? Look at this. Hit advantage is 15. That means it gels significantly. I will show you here. How do you test if something gels? Put your AI on duck. Hit them. Are you able to hit them before they duck back? See, I missed it. If you're able to hit them before they are able to duck, it means that your opponent is not going to be able to do anything other than block before you get to hit them with a high. I would recommend using down 3. I think down 3 actually has a little bit more range, even though the animation looks like it doesn't. It has a tiny little bit more range. I think down 3 is either the same range or has a tiny little bit more range and has more hit advantage anyways, and it's a low. So this is 8 frames on startup compared to 7. So 1 extra frame of startup, you get a low and more hit advantage. So I always use down 3. You can use down 1, it's fine. Use down 3 to gel and then to combo. That's what you want to do. Yeah, so it doesn't work like this because you rely on your opponent blocking. The counter to poking and grabbing is simply to neutral duck. But they're not just going to neutral duck because they have been conditioned to respect the high after. So the tech is sometimes you gel them with highs. Sometimes when they block, you grab them. So that's the 50-50, I guess we can call it, of jailing with down 1. Respect the frames. Oh, and for people who don't know, why is this a jail? Because look at the hit advantage at the bottom in the middle, this is 15, and the startup here is 8. 8 is faster than 15. They need 15 frames of recovery before they can move. In other words, I can hit her. After I poked her with that, I can hit her with this 15 frames before she can move. If I can hit her 15 frames before she can move with an 8, it's guaranteed. That's why it gels. But in this game, you can block out of jails. So that's the only escape. About jailing, the thing I do when I jail, I simply do 1-2. It's hit confirmable. It's the fastest attack you can do. It doesn't make sense to, well, you could jail with the mid, but I prefer to just jail with the down 1. With a 1, I mean, a standing 1. It's fast and it's hit confirmable. You can convert it. So I have main queen right now, variation 3, but essentially you don't just do this. That's a waste of damage. You transfer it, you confirm it into a full combo like that. Right, that's not a proper full combo, but you have to launch after. In all variations, she's going to be able to launch or do something. In variation 1, she can just grab you with the back forward 4. Variation 2, she can attack you with a shield which launches, and in this one you kick her in the air like that. No. Like that from the stance which launches. So launch after you've jailed. In terms of zoning, her zoning is pretty amazing, I think, actually. Like, this is pretty fast, 18 frames. It's fast enough for a projectile. But it's good because the unamplified is a high, obviously, but the amplified is a mid, and the difference between this and, oh my god, I can't throw a projectile, and this is in the animation is very small. The only difference, if you look at it, obviously, if you've played her, you'll know, it's the blue, and it's a bit bigger. That's the only difference. So it's very hard to duck her highs because someone might amplify it in your face and you'll get a mid. So her zoning is good. Now we talked about jailing. Now Geralding is significant again because it's a guaranteed hit and most people are gonna push buttons after getting hit. It's not the easiest thing in the world for you to react. Like with Sheeva it's pretty easy. With other characters it's a bit less easy. But look at this animation here. You rely on the animation of the enemy standing up when you poke them. That's how you know you've poked them. I missed it. With pokes and jailing, the mind game is, are you gonna go for this? Alright, let's talk about meaties. You drop her. She's getting up. The meaty is attacking her while she's getting up, and it's guaranteed because you can hit her before they can hit you. I don't recommend you use Dragon Drop, which is the stomp, unless you're in variation 1, because then you can control, or unless you're using the stomp as a setup, which you can do on hit especially. That's pretty good. For example, if I do like 1, 2, 1, 2, come on bitch, and then you do it. That probably will work. What if I do a combo here? Mean Queen. Let's put in a combo. There you go. It's a guaranteed setup. Well, not guaranteed. There are options for the other Sheeva, but if you do it from time to time, they're not going to expect that drop, and you can do it. But generally, just dropping from here in other variations than variation 1, I don't recommend it because they simply move away and they fully punish you. And what's your benefit? Your benefit is either getting 100, or if you amplify it, you get 150. Whereas if you miss, you get full combo punished. Oh, and if you're having a hard time with the setup, it's not like a normal combo where you can put all the inputs in immediately. It doesn't work like that. You have to wait until the last hit touches. Like that. It's a bit more difficult. It works a lot like Fujin. A good meaty with her, obviously, is just a normal poke. You have nothing to lose. If they roll, you're not going to get punished. You can also meaty with forward 4. This attack here, hit advantage, it's 10 frames of startup, hit advantage 9. Therefore, I would recommend you just poke because you get greater hit advantage and greater startup. Don't fucking meaty with back 1. Look at the hit advantage. -2. In theory, no, not in theory. This is how it actually works. If a Sheeva does this on you, does not complete it, does stagger this on hit her back, because you will land before she can hit you again. In Mortal Kombat, this should not happen. For example, look at this here. I'm hitting you normally, 1 hit, it's hit advantage 2. It's still my turn after you get hit. Just not with this move. Okay, so don't meaty with that. And certainly don't meaty with this, a full combo, unless they have no bar to roll. Because if you do this, while they roll, you're going to get punished. Alright, let's start talking about the text for the move I just showed you here. The Queen of the Shokan. Sheeva is blessed with amazing frames. Her moves are not very punishable and are very hit confirmable. So what happens then is, let's say I go for this, only -2 on block. Ha 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 ha. You know that it's prime for mashing. When you have a -2 on block and you could have followed up with another attack, it's a mind game as to if you will stagger and poke or if you will simply complete the entire string. Your opponent has to react to that. It's only -2, so the reaction must be really, really quick. This means you can steal turns left and right. This means you can do this before they react, or when they start reacting to you poking, you finish it. That's the mind game. Use these two options. And if you can also mix it up with grabs as well. When they start respecting, let's say you do this and you do this, you poke, and then they start respecting all of it. They start blocking them all because they're turtling, they're defensive. That's when, you start grabbing them and stomping their asses in. I don't think the back 1, even on block, is good. This is -5. -5 starts to be difficult to keep stealing your turn after you've staggered. It's pretty hard. -2 is much easier. If you complete the string, if you play against a good player, beware because look, why is it doing that? Hold on. Okay, it's dangerous because of this. Because the N has a flawless blockable string and it's not hard to flawless block. There's a big gap, so just beware if you play against good players. Mix it up all the time. I said she doesn't have good range, but I've seen people whiff punish with Sheeva actually. By doing, just like backing up a little bit. But just make sure if you're trying to whiff punish that you know your distance, because this doesn't offer a lot of distance. This is not bad because it's an advancing move. The follow-up, but just be careful. So 1, 2, this is also staggerable because it's -4, but it's getting into more dangerous territory. I don't really like it, -4. It depends on the reaction of your opponent. If your opponent reacts pretty quickly, you're not going to be able to reinforce that with a down one. But if you start mixing it up a little bit like that, this hits a lot of people. Why? Because of the pause in the middle. You see here? People think that you're done and you're going to stagger it. That's why it hits them. But what's fun about what sucks about having that though is that it's flawless blockable. There's a big gap in there that's easy to use. Alright, we talked about the longer range attacks that she has. This doesn't convert into full combo. However, it's a mid, which is a nice and safe attack. It's fast, it covers a lot of distance. Look at the frames, -2, that's beautiful. Then you can reinforce with a poke. When they're used to you poking, or just, like, let's say you reinforce with a poke and then you get in there and then you start fighting, whatever. When they're used to it, complete it. It's also safe, -5, really nice. The completion also often gets people, which is surprising, but it gets people, right? And if they respect it, obviously go for that. And to a grab, it's only -2, you can do it. Just like, let's talk about frames here. I know it's boring, but it's really important. 4 to 1, since it's -2 and you have the fastest you have is 7, what does that mean? 7 plus 2, because the other attack was -2, is 9. This means that, in theory, if you do that and you poke, your poke will land at the same time as Jackie's forward 3, the kick, which is super fast, which is 9 frames, right? So this means that a 9-frame mid will contest that. You guys will both hit each other at the same time. You both hit each other at the same time, but obviously how this game works is that, so there's human reaction. Someone's going to hit someone first, a little bit first, but it should be fine. If someone uses anything slower than a 9-frame attack, you're going to hit them. You're going to be first. A lot of the mids in this game are 13 frames. For example, Katana's back 1 is 13 frames. You're going to hit Katana in theory before she hits you, which is real nice. And again, since it's a low attack, if they respond to this with a high, you're going to hit them, which is nice. So the counter to this is to simply poke her as soon as she's done staggering this move. Alright folks, the Shokan Stomp. Slow, but covers a nice distance. I freaking love doing this attack online, especially on meaty. It's hilarious. Like it looks like something like this, right? Because people are used to blocking low. Now this attack actually crushes. How does it crush? Let's look at the requirement. It crushes if someone does a low attack and you punish it. Alright, so let's say I do this. No, that's not a low attack. Yeah, so it's okay. Let's look at the requirement again, sorry. So it counters if it punishes a low attack or a ducking attack. Therefore, a down one will count. I'll make sure that my easy crushing blow is off. Come on, I have to be able to do it first. No, it didn't count as a counter. There you go. That one will crush. Isn't that beautiful? Pretty cool, huh? A way to use this, let's say that you're zoning, and then someone walks towards you, crouches, walks towards you, crouches. What you can do, right, they're getting closer, let's say they're pretty close, and then you're like, ah! You stomp them. That's one way you can keep them away. Alright, the sweep. Whoops. The sweep is one of the best in the game. It's great for her because it has range. Of course, you can mix it up on meaty, you can do it on meaty, mix it up with your overheads. It becomes a 50-50. Like I said, it's fuzzy guardable, but online you're going to get away with it, so use it. I use it to cover distance sometimes. Well, I'm on hit, it doesn't really cover distance, but if I'm on here, right now I'm in their face. So I started here, I'm on here, I'm in their face. I'm where I want to be. I don't want to be here as Sheeva. So use it to cover distance. It's only one hit, you can't convert it, but Sheeva is not a footsie type character anyways. But use it often, really often. It's safe anyways, what you have to lose. Alright, this move, I think that this move, which is called Goddess of Destruction, I think it's a terrible move because look at this. Look at the range. Wow. Come on, get closer. Come on, get closer. I bet it's gonna whiff if I... Oh my god, it whiffs from here. You see how terrible this is? Like, I mean, the low even touches. But you can use it on meaty. It's not what I recommend the most. But let's say they don't have bar. You want to be sure that they don't poke on wake up. You can go ahead and do something like that. Convert it into full combo. Something along those lines. Use it when you're really up close. Don't rely on it when you're here. Like when you're here and you're trying to fight, it's back 1 that you should use. Not forward 4, obviously. And if you end up using it on meaty and they end up blocking, obviously you're going to stagger it like that to look and hit confirm the following hit with a special move. Don't leave it at that because it's -10. You're probably going to get away with it because of the distance, but you want to do this. Is there a flawless blockable gap? No. So forward 4, forward 4-4. You see that they block forward 4-4-3. But this move I don't use often. You see mean queen players use it to pressure and stuff. But when we talk about simply using normals, this is not my favorite move at all. We talked about the flame, the Shokan flame, as a zoning tool, but let's talk about it as a pressure tool actually. What is it on block? Full close, -10. Really close, -12. What if we amp it? -1. It's safe when amped. Up close as you want to get. So, let me show. Remember when I talked about back 1-1-2? Back 1-2-2, I mean, back 1-2-2. Follow up, big flawless blockable gap. Let's say you want to keep mixing it. I told you that you can simply stagger it and poke or stagger it and grab, but say you want to trick them because they like flawless blocking a lot. What you can do is this. Whoops. Shokan, no. Shokan flame. There's no flawless blockable gap in there. If you're sure, don't amp it. If you want to be sure, if you're a defensive player, if you play safely, that's what my playstyle is. And you just use a bar. You're safe just in case they block, and if they don't block, they get hit. You can use it with all our flawless blockable gaps. Like that. And that's how you use the Shokan Flame closely. Drag and drop. I said don't use it unless you are in variation 1, you can control it. And when you're in variation 1, you do want to try to move it. You don't want to just stay in the middle unless they're really not moving at all. Because if you stay in the middle and they move, either way they're going to punish you. If you move this way and then they move the other way, you're both safe, right? So, okay, drag and drop. The setups. You can use it after every string, I believe. Yeah, you can use it after... Maybe not after you complete them. Yeah, not after you complete them, but staggered. See? That's real tricky. You can even hold it. So have fun with it. The input is hard. Come on, can I do it? Yeah, it's even doable here. Do it. Have fun with it. Don't do it in like it's better to do it on knockdown, like when it's on hit, not on block. Okay, let's yeah, that's the combo I showed you because it's a real trap. Obviously, if they do get up, say they do get a roll, what will that look like? Yeah, they can outroll it. Let's say that we delay. Yeah, now we can get punished. They delay, get up long. You just have to delay it. Delay your stomp if they get up long. Because if you don't, whoop, you're the one getting punished. So, anyways, there's a mind game here. Use it on hit from time to time, not always, because it's risky, but it's super fun. There's one more normal I didn't talk about, the back. Let me show you. Back 2-1-1-2. This one. It's not my favorite because I whiffed all the time. There's barely any range here and it's slow as hell. But if you're in the or if you're really like close to them and you're confident, you can use it. It's safe, hit confirmable. But you can the frames are not as good. This one -9. It's actually punishable if you stop it here. So in theory, you always want to hit confirm into it. What does that mean? So it means like say I put this on. Well, you guys know what hit confirming is. So on block you do this, and on hit is when special cancel it. It has a sneaky overhead in there. The first one starts with a mid, the other one with an overhead. This move by itself is not real good, but in Mean Queen there's a lot of mix-up potential because of the overhead. Oh yeah, and I forgot. One last thing for normals. 2-1-1. Real fast. It's hit confirmable. It's kind of difficult. It comes in handy for variation 1 because you can Shokan snag, grab them from the air after this one, which on hit does launch type of thing. Like it doesn't launch, but you're in the air anyway, so air attacks are gonna work. The thing is, if you start using Slam Dance 2-on-1, don't stagger it like stagger it, but hit confirm it on block like that, because if you do that 2-1, it's -10 punishable. 2-1, all you see it's on block, you finish it. We're gonna talk about Slam Dance in V1 in a bit. As it stands, not the best, but it's good for jailing. You jail that, and you really have time to see it coming. So, alright, that's it for normals. We're gonna talk about Mean Queen. Please like, subscribe, go follow me on Twitch. I am streaming on YouTube at the moment, but I want to switch to Twitch as soon as I've brought some of my audience over. If you like the stream, go follow me on there. Description and link below. Go follow me on Twitter. Like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Peace.